Hello, everyone. I am Cartoon Kitsune, and welcome back to yet another Toonkind at 12 FPS. Today I will be playing Xavier Sterling. He's a tiefling, he's a butler, he wears all black, y'all know what's up. And with me today is my wonderful friend.
Hi, I'm Launch. I'm great. I'm doing great. I am playing a bit of a cast of characters today, which shall be revealed momentarily.
Yeah.
Kit, do you have anything else to say, or do I just roll into it?
I'm good. I'm gonna kind of lead you in. Because I believe today we are starting at a certain apartment complex over in Toontown.
Indeed, we are. It is bright and early in the morning. The sun is just cresting over the horizons, and we zoom in on this apartment complex. We go in even deeper towards the basement level where you would see the maintenance workers if they have any boarding that they would be kept. And there's silence, except for maybe a few birds. And then a few birds screaming further in the distance, but let's ignore them for a moment. There's silence for the most part. And then an alarm clock goes off only to be smashed immediately by a fist rolling over from its bedside as they attempt to stop the alarm from going off with a little bit too much force. As a young blonde boy rubs his eyes groggily, he's like, "Oh, I've done it again, haven't I?" As we meet our first friend of the day, Farris, who is working at an apartment complex, but he is not alone. As the next grumbling face to greet the sunrise, Farris, you can't be doing this again. Don't have enough money to keep spending on alarm clocks. I'm gonna have to set it on my side of the bed at this rate. Is our good friend Archibold, who is the older of the two men, the two of them, a little bit scruffy, getting on in his years, but he's certainly awake in the morning. As the two get up, they kind of just stretch, gotta get ready for another very exciting day, being the all around upkeep of the apartment complex that they have been so lucky to work at um, for maybe half a year, maybe a little under a year at this point.
I'd say at least a year, maybe like a
Regardless,
little more, maybe a
at
little
least a
less.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been there for a little bit,
Yeah.
and interesting to note, despite this taking place in Toontown, these are very much not toons. These are real kind individuals who seem to have found their own little niche uh in their little home. But of course, not everything can be so smooth running as they can hear the frantic footsteps and a distant call of their third partner in crime. Archie! Archie, I don't believe it. I was just trying to make the lounge look all nice and neat. As into their room bursts their third companion, Leah. Her glasses cracked as usual, and all frantic about having started her day just a hair earlier than the others, trying to, in all the goodness of her heart, trying to get a head start in the day. Though from her tale to tell, it does not seem like it's been going well. I was just trying to make sure everything was nice and orderly, and I saw some flowers, and I thought, oh, it'd be so lovely to just, add to it, and I misjudged it, and I accidentally knocked over the vase. But this is kind of the typical day for this trio. Sometimes they'll be able to get through a day with one or two incidences. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that. It is usually very busy, and uh, despite their best efforts, e- n- probably a day doesn't go by where something doesn't go wrong.
Yeah.
But it's always been like this to an extent. So the three of them have kind of worked out their own way of managing it. Uh, it's been a long time since they've had someone who's fairly competent at their job with this.
Absolutely. But if anything, like it kind of fits in a little like pretty well with like the kind of toony atmosphere they currently live in. Like in spite of being real kind, they very much fit in with all the shenanigans.
It certainly does, and it to their credit, even when Leah is going upstairs to show them the chaos that she inadvertently unfolded, they are greeted by the sight of 12 birds, all having a grand old time putting together a that was once a vase.
Okay, if I take this part and it goes here. No, that part goes there. Oh, I love this game. It's so fun. Okay, oh, hi! Hello!
And these 12 seem to be very familiar with with these three, having lived in this building for quite some time. Leah frets a little bit. Oh, Mr. the Reginolds, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
Oh, this is okay. I love this puzzle. It's so fun. So much excitement to do after our morning screaming. We get to do a 3D puzzle. I love puzzle. Ooh.
And they seem to be having a grand old time, inadvertently fixing the mistake that Leah made.
Oh, thank goodness.
And Archibald pats her on the shoulder. Well, let's try to keep it to a minimum or hope that's the last one of the day, eh?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'll manage just fine, I'm sure.
But this seems to be a common occurrence. With their toon nature, it does fit in very well, and they are lucky to have made some toon friends with the tenants who live in the building to cover their asses occasionally. But it's not an easy job. Even though they have been working this job for quite a long time, and their resume indicated that they had worked a similar job prior, it doesn't seem that they're well suited for the task of being upkeepers in any real capacity.
Yeah.
But that's how they roll regardless.
And it is. And I think at this point it might be a good time for certain something to happen. Now, you said that they're in the basement level. Would it be fair to say that like maybe they have like one of those like sort of tiny windows that like you have like not really to see out of, but like for ventilation, that kind of thing?
Oh, absolutely. You gotta
Yeah.
have a little something for the morning rays to come and
Of course,
peek
yeah.
in.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know you have to roll for this. I'm gonna say that like as this is all going on, uh, everyone in the room, you'll see a piece of paper, or rather a paper airplane that it's been folded into, just kind of softly drift through the window and make like a little circle around the room before landing on I don't know if they have like a dining table or like a coffee table or something, but some sort of table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The three of them all kind of pause and stare in stark silence at it for a moment.
It's a letter. Is it for us?
Melmoth's getting just lazy or something? Let's see here. And Archie will go over there and go to pick up the letter or the paper airplane.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen this mode of transportation more than once, so they probably
Well
are
acquainted with
aware
it.
that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're aware that it's probably some sort of correspondence, but never
Of
before
course.
has it come to them. They haven't really gotten anything aside
Yeah.
from the occasional postcard from an old friend who still lives back elsewhere.
That is.
But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, Archibald unfolds the letter, and immediately the first thing you probably notice is that it is written in like a very like nice, neat sort of script. Probably one that's like a bit familiar to the three of them, and it only becomes more familiar as you read through this letter. Just like by the way the person like writes, you can practically hear their voice in your minds as you're reading through the letter. Dear Leah, Farris, and Archibald, I hope this letter finds you all in good health. I do apologize for not writing you sooner, but I do have some good news to share with you all. I have recently found employment with a young noblewoman who owns a manor on the outskirts of Villestown. As she has recently purchased the manor, she is still in need of some servants to take care of the manor and handle its upkeep. She is also in need of some additional security to protect the manor and herself, and I am certain she would feel much more at ease with a team of people to patrol it, rather than just myself alone. She has delegated the task of finding servants who will fill these roles to me, and naturally the three of you are the first people who popped into my head upon receiving this request. I already know what to expect from you and how you will work together. And while your abilities to handle chores and tidying up have always been a bit hit or miss, to put it lightly, I have full
Hey, what's
confidence.
that mean?
I have, I have full confidence that you will be more than capable of protecting her should any threats to her life happen to rear their head, so to speak. If you are in need of work and are interested in what I have offered, you may send your response to Höfle Manor, and next to it is like the address of the place in question. Or, if you would prefer to speak in person, you may pay a visit to the manor itself. I shall look forward to hearing from you in the meantime, and regardless of whether or not you accept this job offer, I wish you all the best. Kindest regards, Xavier Sterling. And before everyone reacts, I will note that there is a PS at the bottom. I don't know if you want to do reactions first or have them read the PS afterwards. Up to you.
They probably reading the whole thing in one.
All right, so yeah, after the name, signing at the bottom is Xavier Sterling, which you will definitely recognize as a certain someone's signature. It says, P.S. If you do choose to come by the manor to speak with me, I will warn you that my appearance has changed rather drastically since we have last seen one another. I should still be recognizable, but I thought it only fair to inform you beforehand to avoid any confusion. I would rather not get into the specifics of how my appearance has changed in this letter, but I am sure you will understand when you see me.
So initially it was definitely just Archie holding the letter, but as he's reading it, in very much in Toonish fashion, the other two kind of peek over his shoulder to read it.
Mr. Xavier! Mr. Xavier's still alive! Oh my goodness, I didn't think we'd ever see the day!
Hold on, you two. We don't know if that's him.
What?
Before the other two can kind of go off on a joyful tangent, the tallest and most suspicious of the three of them, Archie, stops them. He kind of holds the stick in his mouth and hums for a minute. I mean, we haven't seen or heard from him since, you know.
Yeah. Well, it has been some time, it has.
As they all remember the day they last saw their head butler.
Yeah, I think you can picture it very clearly in your mind, just the fires everywhere, people running away, and the three of you chasing down a rather massive beast that at one point had been, well, a friend of yours, a pet even, but at the time, well, you either had to put him down or watch him burn down the rest of the city. And you will also recall that, well, putting down that particular hound was your master's final order to you.
So forgive me for being suspicious, but I don't know why Xavier wouldn't speak out to us before now.
But it could be him. It could be him. Yeah, Farris is right. What if it is him? What if it is him? And if we ignore this, we won't be able to see him again. No, we won't.
And the two of them start falling into each other's arms at the mere possibility of losing out on seeing their dear old friend. All right, calm down, you two. Listen, this place ain't that close to us anyways. Getting fair for all of us to go even take a look would probably put a hefty dent in our check. I'll go check it out, and you two, survive out here. Sound good?
All right. Yeah, it's all right. We can manage. We can manage the apartment complex on our own. Right, Farris? Oh, yes, we can do it.
Alright, if you have any troubles, talk to Audrey. Reginolds will probably help. Good luck.
Oh, you leaving immediately?
Easiest time to go. Perhaps, despite reservations and suspicions, Archibald himself is a bit excited at the prospect of seeing the head butler once more.
Yeah, can I just say, Lunch? I love them so much. I love them. They're so good.
Well, listen, man, they are dysfunctional, and I love them. They miss their friend.
They do.
But I think, even on such short notice, Archibald will pack up the few things he have, give himself a decent amount of money to spend just in case,
Mm-hmm.
and of course arm himself just in case.
Right.
Before he will begin making the trek pretty much immediately.
Yeah. And I think we can montage past this part. Hold on one second. I need to pause for a moment. So at this point, I think we can just sort of cut to a montage of Archibald getting on the train, traveling all the way across Einquell from Toontown to Villestown. Out of curiosity, has Archibald ever been to Villestown before?
No, and he's never traveled by montage before, but he paid extra to go faster. And damn, is it disorienting.
Yeah, but you did get there pretty fast. And yeah, so I imagine you probably take the train
Can't
there.
argue with that.
Yeah, and then you probably have to get like a carriage to get to the manor because it is about half an hour or so outside of Villestown, give or take.
It's very odd. He's definitely, I mean, not weirded out, but it's odd seeing things flatter than usual. Cause
UPA,
Toonkind is
right?
usually pretty flat, but
Yeah,
Villestown seems even more flat. Or maybe that's just
definitely.
him.
That's true. Definitely a different kind of environment. But yeah, eventually he will arrive at the manor itself. And it is not quite as big as the place he used to work at. It's maybe only 2 stores. That one was for I think like 4 or so. Either way, like it was a lot bigger. But yeah, and this one is of course it's the style is interesting. I've described it so far as like kind of like the watercolor backgrounds they do in like old Disney
Mm,
movies, like Snow White or
yes.
Cinderella, where it's like kind
Yes.
of a realistic sort of style, but it's also that painted look.
I do love painterly style.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so for the sake of expediency, I'll say that like the gate is unlocked, or that he's able to buzz himself in, whatever. Either way, however he does it, he finds himself walking up the driveway to this place and arriving at the front door.
Blimey, Xavier's got connections or something. Certainly, like a bit. It's been a while since he's been at like a nice, fancy place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he does recognize this to not be nearly as nice as the Ashby Manor, but he's still kind of like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is still a very nice place. So yeah, you are at the front door.
Xavier's really good at this, or someone's really good at pulling my leg. He'll straighten himself out just a bit because maybe there's already some people there. Maybe this is all a big prank. If it is, he's not gonna look totally like a slob. But
Mm-hmm.
he'll go to ring the doorbell or
All
use the
right.
knockers or whatever they got.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you wait a few moments, and then you see the knob turn, and the door clicks open. And stepping out from behind the door is, at first, a very familiar figure. He's got, I don't know if the suit would be exactly the same as the one he used to wear, but it's definitely like very similar in style. So that's all the same. But as you kind of like look this person over, there are indeed some very stark differences from the man that you used to know. In particular, this fella, rather than the pale complexion he used to have, it is now a deep shade of red. And there's a pair of horns, long, thin horns that kind of like curve up from his forehead. And even his eyes are that same kind of deep red color. And the hair's the same though. It's that kind of long, not quite messy, but like sort of, you know, how his haircut is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Archie just looks at him, and is like he's very practiced at holding thing. Like he's definitely got a stick in his mouth, and he's practiced enough that it doesn't immediately fall out. But he's kind of gaping at him.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Xavier, because this is indeed Xavier, he just kind of smiles at Archibald, casual as ever, as though like it hasn't been a year, like you only just saw him like just last week or something. Just, oh, Archibald, I take it you got my letter then?
Blimey, you sure got sunburnt, didn't you?
He just kind of raises an eyebrow and just kind of utters, not the first thing I thought you would comment on, but just kind of mutters to himself.
I'm not supposed to comment on it? I mean, you're kind of gestures, like, not sure exactly how to say it politely.
I see. Well, I see you're as eloquent as ever, which is to say, not terribly. So I'll.
Hey, I can walk out right now.
Well, at any rate, if you can't find your words, then I'll simply give them to you. I am, well, a tiefling.
So is like that always the case, or something happened in them fires that I wasn't aware about, or?
Well, not during the fires, specifically. It's how to best explain? Sorry, I'm trying to find the best way for him to say
No
this.
worries.
Because he's not really the type to outright lie, per se, but
He's going to right now.
but he wants to choose his words very carefully. Well, I suppose the best way to put it is I wasn't, well, back when we used to work together, I wasn't terribly honest about how I actually look, per se. But, well, you don't exactly see tieflings walking around the streets of Smellchester out in the open for rather obvious reasons.
Hey, you got a point there. Blimey. Did Cyrus know?
He did. He did indeed know of my true nature. Though, well, I can't go into too much detail, as I suspect if I told you everything, the young master might be quite liable to rise from the grave and exact his own revenge on me. Kind of chuckles a bit. But, well...
Oh, yeah, speaking of rising from the grave, and Archie will wind up to fucking deck him.
Roll the hit, please.
Archie whiffs it.
Oh, boy. Yeah, he just leans
Whiffs it.
That punch was telegraphed so well that, like, he just leans slightly out of the way.
Hey, stay still next time.
Oh dear, still a bit slow with that right hook of yours, I see. Though I suppose it's not entirely undeserved on my part.
We thought you was dead. Farris and Leah, they bawled their eyes out. We had to survive on our own, and you've been living here, or living at least.
Well, I only recently began living here. You did receive a stipend from the young master's will, did you not? He should have left you all the servants enough to at least take care of yourselves for a decent amount of time. Yes.
We got a stipend, but stipends can only get you so far afterwards. We had to well, you know, there's only the three of us there somehow, so I'm certain you know we left the fourth back at home. Had to make sure he was okay.
I think Xavier's like his expression, his face kind of like falls a little bit, and he does like there's kind of a hint of sadness on his face, and he says, I see. So I take it Mr. Takeda is.
Oh, Takeda's fine. We just put him up in a nice place so he can live out the rest of his time. Don't need him traversing the world with us.
Oh, thank heavens, that's good to hear.
Yeah. He also thought you was dead, so you best be sending your apologies his way next time you send out some fancy letters.
Why, yes, of course. I shall certainly make a point to do so at my soonest convenience. But, well, I haven't exactly had a permanent address for quite some time now.
Yeah, I think I'd like an explanation for that. Fucking crosses his arms, like is biting on the stick in his mouth. Tapping his foot.
Well, I suppose I should explain myself then. Would you like to come inside?
Yeah, I guess. Not used to coming in these fancy places as a guest, more so just a servant, but alright.
Well, I'll make an exception just this once, though I do expect you to use the servants' entrance if you do indeed get hired, but we'll get to that at a
Yeah,
later
yeah,
time.
yeah. Same big talk as ever.
All right, and yeah, he will hold the door open for you, and you walk in, and what, do you want to say something?
No, I think Archie's torn between taking full advantage of being a guest and being kind of a dick, or just kind of going along.
I mean, up to you.
No, I think he'll go along. He's still kind of like, where'd this man go? Still right pissed at you.
Right. Yeah. So I think it'll lead you into kind of the foyer, which is kind of similar in style to the one at the Ashby Manor, in that it has that big kind of double staircase that leads up to the kind of balcony at the top. No big portrait behind it though, because you'll remember at the Ashby Manor, I believe that there used to be the one of CL's parents, but then Cyrus's parents.
Real name, real name.
Shut up. But then he had it replaced with, I think it was a portrait of him with Xavier standing behind him, if I recall correctly.
Yes,
Yeah, that's the
yes.
one. Yeah. But yeah, there's no such portrait here at the moment. But yeah, it all feels very familiar, and yet it's not quite so familiar because this is indeed a different place. Even the style of it is quite different.
It's weird. All mansion's kind of the same on the inside.
Well, quite a few of the architects who designed them go for a rather similar style. I do believe the young lady chose this one because some of it is reminiscent of a Straussian style, so evocative of her homeland, where she hails from.
Aha.
So you have that look on his face like he didn't get half of what Xavier just said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Xavier just sighs and then adds, uh, this place looks a bit like the sort of manners she's used to back home.
I got that much.
But yeah, I think Xavier will kind of lead you to sort of a side room that's like a sitting room. It's got a couch for you guys to sit down on. He has coffee prepared, as though he were expecting you. Do you still take your coffee the same way?
Well, I hadn't really had much to change about it, so yeah.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, how does he take his coffee?
Black.
I thought so. Yeah. So I suppose I should start from the beginning. Well, after the
That'd
young
be helpful.
yeah. Well, after the young master's passing during the fires, I was no longer under his employ, and so I was free to roam where I pleased. And well, when I was no longer under his employ, I thought it would only complicate things if I were to stick around.
So, what, you left without saying goodbye to any of us? You know, me, I get it, but Farris? Leah?
Hmm.
Come on, man, that was cruel. That
Hmm,
was...
I suppose it
They
was,
did
but
not take it right.
hmm.
Don't suppose it was! I had to I had to live with that. I had to help pick up the pieces after you left. You
Hmm.
know, I know you call me a bumbling oaf all the time, but I know I managed us pretty good. Wasn't easy, but I did.
I think there's again, Xavier's a very hard person to read, but there is a very small sense that he's a little impressed by this, that Archibald actually really stepped up to take care of the other two like this. Hmm. Well, at the time I believe that it would ultimately be more painful if I were to show up and then have to leave yet again. I wasn't planning on sticking around. Once the young master had passed, I had done as he had ordered me to, and that was it.
Damn. Heartless as ever. Alright, then what?
Well, after that, as I mentioned, continued to travel for a while. I went back to doing the sort of things that I did before. I served the young master, and this time
I don't
around,
suppose you ever gonna disclose what that is. Not that you ever did when you worked with us.
no, I don't believe I will.
I knew as much, you brat bastard.
But yeah, as he's kind of saying this, let me roll a deception actually to see how well he hides this. Oh, only
Oh
a
no.
7. Interesting. So yeah, Archibald, yeah, you know that back in the day, Xavier was a very difficult man to read. But interestingly enough, you can really see this just for the briefest of moments that he shows it, this sort of kind of lost, almost despondent look in his eyes. Like he's acting like everything's fine and like nothing's wrong, but you kind of get the sense that after he left Cyrus's employ, he kind of didn't know what to do with himself after that. Like that had been his role for a good three or more years. But afterwards, he just even going back to whatever mysterious thing he did beforehand, just kind of didn't fulfill him. And I think he'll even kind of say as much. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you this. You softened up a bit in your time. I ain't never seen you show this much emotion.
He kind of scoffs a little at that, but he'll also say, well, as I mentioned in the letter, a lot of things have changed since then. Hmm. At any rate, though, coming back to the present, um, I had moved out here to Einquell, most likely for the same reasons you and the others did, looking for opportunity and whatnot, and a change of scenery as well.
Yeah, well, it's more affordable than some of the other places. We had a bit of a budget we had to stick to after we got the kind of all set up.
Indeed. I was running into, admittedly, some financial troubles of my own before I was fortunate enough to hear about this
You
job
you had
opportunity.
financial troubles? Ha! He fucking slaps his knee at that. Oh, even the great and mighty Xavier struggles sometime. Oh, what's the world coming to?
He's just glaring at you like, don't do quiet down.
Oh, I'm sorry. This guest will make sure to mind his manners.
Please do. At least extend that small courtesy. He's just so annoyed at you now.
Archie's living it up.
Yes, what wasn't quite so funny for me at the time, in fact. And I think he'll reach into his pocket and he'll take out a silver pocket watch that you have seen him, carry around all the time, like back when you were working at the Ashby Manor. He says,
Oh, hey,
"Yeah,
you're sentimental too.
hmm, well, to some degree. No, though, admittedly, I was planning on pawning this off out of necessity. It was a rather fortunate coincidence that I found that job advertisement at the time that I did, or else I may not have this in my person at the moment."
Yeah, then I'd have to take back every good thing I've said about you being sentimental and go back to calling you. Anyways, continue.
Oh no, do go on. I'm sure you have a plethora of loving epithets to give to me. You've been
Nah,
holding.
nah. It's
Oh, really? Now I would have thought you would be have stockpiled them quite a bit in this past year or so.
Oh, I've got a stockpile, but I left them at home with the others.
Fair enough. Speaking of which, though, well, I've told you my tale of how I ended up here. What about the three of you? Where are you currently living, if I may ask?
He looks at him. Archie looks at Xavier like he's stupid.
Hmm?
You daft! You sent us a letter.
But
What do you mean you asking where we at?
all right. I take it you don't know how the those paper airplanes function, yes?
It's male.
Well, of a sort, but there is a bit of something special about them. They are designed.
Well, I mean, if it's more magic shite, I'm
Hmm.
every time I get exposed to any of that, I get right headache.
Yeah, he just kind of smokes at you like, still getting used to that, I see.
It doesn't get easier.
Well, in fairness, I suspect most people from Albinon would have a bit of a period of getting used to that. Going from no magic to quite a bit of magic everywhere is a bit of an adjustment. But yes,
Farris is taking to it just fine. You know, Leah surviving. I guess I'm just too old for this shit.
he just kind of looks like, well, you said it, not me. At any rate.
Fuck you.
But yes, the way
That's the one good thing I got. I could sway for reals.
But yes, at any rate, the way that particular item works is that it's able to hone in on the reciprocant, even if the person writing the letter doesn't necessarily know their location, and it flies to them via montage, I believe is the convention.
I just took a montage over here. That's disorienting. I
Yes,
guess it's like the fastest mode of transport, but like, jeez.
yes, I must commend the railway system in here. It is quite a bit more advanced than the one back in Albinon.
Yeah, I'll give it that. The few times we've been able to take a nice long rail trip.
Mm. But yes, to answer your question, I did not know where the three of you were. Truthfully, I did not even know if you were in Einquell. I half expected the letter to have to fly all the way up to Albinon. But if you are indeed living here, that is quite a bit more convenient for me, I must say.
Yeah, convenient. We've been living in Toontown. Three of us got works. We working as maintenance workers at an apartment complex.
Hmm,
You
I
know,
see. How's that?
surviving.
Hmm, how has that been working out for you?
You know, just fine. Gotta put our prior skills to use
I'm gonna roll
and work
insight on
sure.
that.
I don't think you even need to roll insight.
Aw,
I think
man.
fucking you gotta roll like a 5 or better to know he's bluffing.
Yeah.
Especially since you were the one who was in charge of them before, and no
Mhm.
matter how much Archie says he might be like taking charge of them now,
It's
you know
stubborn.
these chuckle farts. They're not. They're not good at their jobs.
I'm kind of imagining that like this would be the point where we like see like a short montage of them like doing their jobs and subsequently like screwing them up and causing all manner of havoc.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, Farris maintains the walkways and general surrounding areas. Make sure the bushes are all trimmed and stuff. Leah, make sure the place looks spick and span, and you know, I do some communal cooking.
Hmm. Yeah, he's just kind of like giving you that like aggravatingly knowing look that like he always does. Like you know the
I'll
one.
have you know, I have been trained by an award-winning chef. He's a bird with no hands, but you know, he's won an award for cooking.
He just kind of hums at that like, well, I've certainly heard of Stranger Things in Inkwell since I've been here, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility, I suppose.
Anyways,
Well, it does seem like the three of you managed to carve out a nice little niche for yourselves. That said, the job offer is still on the table. If you are interested, it will of course come with room and board, along with your payment as well. And I guarantee the young lady can provide quite a more substantial paycheck than whatever they're paying you over the apartment. Still, it is ultimately your decision.
come on. You were a lot better at convincing the first time. Granted, I didn't have much options first time over, but
Well, it was in the middle of
come
a war
on, Xavier.
zone, so.
Yeah, well, work that Xavier charm. What's in it? What's in it for me and the other three? Because we'd be uprooting our whole lives just to get back over here.
Well, for one thing, I suppose it could be something a bit more familiar to you. I can't speak for you, of course, but I have found myself missing those days that we all spent together at the manor. And while, of course, this is not quite exactly like that.
I think at that, like he continues talking and just like Archie's snickering while he's continuing to talk.
Oh, what is it now?
Oh, you saying you missed us? You saying you miss hanging out with us? You miss you miss all three of us leaving our chaotic sails?
I suppose I miss the familiarity of it, not necessarily all the other
Oh, look
aspects
at
of it.
this man. Look at this man. You really have gone soft, ain't you, Xavier?
He just kind of grumbles, not looking at you.
Oh.
God. Honestly, he deserves this for all the times he gave
Yeah.
Archibold shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's like, oh, now the only thing keeping me from really accepting is knowing that I'm gonna get payback about tenfold when I accept.
You know what? I've changed my
I'm
mind.
looking under you again.
I've changed my mind. Perhaps this wasn't a very good idea at all.
Ah. You sentimental bastard.
Yeah, you can kind of tell like he's kind of trying not to smile because in spite of everything else, like he does enjoy just bantering with you like this.
Listen, I can't say that I haven't felt similar in that me and the others. Well, I'll tell you, they do miss you. I wasn't willing to let them go here by themselves for a number of reasons, but
How
fucking
uncharacteristically
pulls out
I was gonna say,
a cigarette.
yeah. How uncharacteristically wise of you. I suppose you have changed as well. Though not in all aspects, I see. He kind of like makes a face at like the cigarette. You're still smoking those awful things.
Oh, you think you can find the real things around here? And he just he bites off of it. He bites it off candy. Can only find fucking candy ones. I take
That
what I
makes
can get.
sense. Yes, that and those rather large cigars that are big to explode with dynamite, as I recall.
Yeah, those seem fatal to like me. So I ain't even tried.
Well, you've certainly bounced back from worse, I would argue. He's kind of smirking at you again.
And what's that supposed to mean, eh?
Well, you were known as the unkillable soldier back in the day, as I recall.
I'm still kicking somehow.
Well, if you are in need of more convincing, how about I introduce you to the young lady herself?
I was gonna ask what she's like. She's anything like Cyrus, well, it's gonna be kind of interesting.
Well, in some regards, yes, but in many others, she certainly is not. She's certainly quite a bit more agreeable than the young master. Well, then again, that can depend on the day with her, but that's something I have to get into. I ought to let her tell you about. Hmm. In terms of similarities, though, well, for one thing, no, her parents are no longer of this world, and
Uh,
hmm,
my
yes,
condolences to her.
indeed. She is quite a bit older than the young master was. Has only recently reached adulthood, though, in fairness, she is still a child in many regards.
Listen, Xavier, is it just gonna be all of us again? You know, plus the new young lady.
Hmm. Well, it's not just her. I'd say one major difference from sorry, words. I'd say one major difference between her and the young master would have to be that she's quite a bit more sociable. She's acquired quite a few friends, and some of them will likely be frequenting the manor every so often. So it won't be just the four of us and her.
More social events. Gotta keep up decorum. Gotta stay below the stairs.
He just kind of laughs at you like, "Oh no, nothing of the sort." In fact, the young lady is quite against well, the more traditional social gatherings that a noblewoman would be expected to be throwing at her manor. She is well, of a more nervous disposition, so to speak.
Huh.
Hmm.
Well, you did say she needs our skills.
Hmm. Yes.
I'll talk to the others. You'll probably be back within a week or so. I already know what they's gonna say.
I had a feeling. But since you are here, I may as well introduce you to the young lady while I can. Before you have to make the long trip back to Toontown.
Gotta look pomp and circumstance. Kind of like dusts himself off, tries to look even more presentable if he's actually meeting the lady of the house.
Of course. Alright. I think he'll kind of like stand up and like lead you out to the foyer, and I think he'll like kind of stop for a moment and sort of close his eyes and like listen very carefully. And after that, he kind of like lets out like a small groan and is like, "Oh dear, I shouldn't have taken my eyes off of her. Come this way quickly now." And he'll kind of like quickly lead you back to where the kitchens are actually.
Definitely scoping out soon to be his new spot.
Absolutely. Well, scoping might be a tiny bit difficult. Actually, let me set the scene for you. So you guys are approaching the door to the kitchen, and you hear not one but two female voices kind of talking behind the door. And you hear one say, "I'm not sure, Angelique. Is it supposed to be the sticky? Oh, maybe we just need to add more flour. Here, give me the bag. No, careful, that's heavy. Ah!" And you kind of hear like a whoomph and kind of a brrr of like one of those electric mixtures going on. And you guys enter the kitchen, and you see a young lady, probably in her late teens, with these long braids and a very nice dress, who is now covered in flour, standing in front of a somewhat messy-looking mixing bowl that has like little bits of like dough of some sort kind of sticking to the counter and the bowl itself. Curiously, though, next to her, standing on the counter, is what almost looks like a smaller version of herself, but in like a different outfit, kind of a darker color scheme, and she has this pair of like little gray wings, like behind her back.
Hey, you said you didn't have a chef. You said you needed my skills. I didn't think you already had a chef.
That's not the chef. That's the lady of the house. Excuse me for a moment.
Oh.
And he'll just like sidle up to them and flick the mixer off. And he'll just kind of sigh at them like, my lady, if you were hungry, you could have just told me and I would have made you something. Oh, well, sorry, it's just, well, we knew we were busy today, and, you know how I said I wanted to try making apple strudel, and I was helping, so, and both of them are kind of like stammering over themselves, trying to explain, and Xavier just kind of like sighs and shakes his head at them. Well, in the future, if you wish to make use of the kitchen, please at least inform me so I can supervise. And as for you, and he'll kind of turn and like look over at the little miniature angel girl. Well, you should have advised her against doing this. And the little angel Angelique kind of sputters and like, well, me, what did I do? Well, as you so often like to say, you are her patron, and as such, you should be showing a bit more responsibility. And not letting your charge get into these sorts of messes.
Oh, he hasn't changed a damn. He hasn't changed at all. I take back everything I've said.
Yeah, I think Xavier and Angelique are kind of like arguing back and forth a bit, but while that's happening, the girl with the braids, kind of like peers behind him and is like, "Oh, hello, sir. Who are you?"
The name's Archibold. Xavier's looking to bring me on as chef of the house. Pleasure to meet you.
And she nods. I think she'll kind of go up to you and kind of like try to dust a little flour off her skirt, and then do like a polite little curtsy to you. And it's like, pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm Aurelia, the lady of the house. Sorry, I'm not looking my best at the moment. She kind of like brush the flour off herself a bit more.
Now we've all listen. If you get in the kitchen at any point, you'll end up like that. And it'll lead in, unless you're him, and just kind of finger point to Xavier.
She kind of giggles a little at that. Yeah, he's pretty good at staying clean, isn't he?
Yeah, it's freakishly so. Don't try to get to his standards. You just make yourself sad.
Oh man. And I think
But
this.
lady, if you'd so have us, I'd love to come on as cook of the house, and I could bring on a maid and gardener as well.
And you see her face kind of light up and says, "Oh, you're the ones Xavier was talking about. The people he used to work with."
Yeah, we go back.
Oh, well, if you'd like to, I'd love to have you all working here. We are in quite a bit need of servants at the moment. I mean, Xavier's been able to take care of quite a bit of stuff, but I don't want to have him working on doing anything. That doesn't really seem fair to him.
He can take it.
Yes, and if anything, it's probably more likely that the three of you will only make more work for me. He kind of says.
Hey, we've gotten better. All right, now I need to come on just to prove that we've gotten better for you.
Well, I suppose you'll have to prove it to me at some point. And I think, just for fun, I think Aurelia will pipe up and say, actually, it is getting close to lunchtime. Maybe we could do sort of a, what's the term, working interview? Look, we'll have to get the place cleaned up.
All right, I'll bring out my specialty. This one guy taught me how to make some mean brisket. Apparently, it's what he won the award for. So, get ready, get your socks knocked off, Xavier.
Just so long as you don't go using any high artillery weaponry to cook.
I didn't bring any with me.
Oh, good.
This
Well, that
time.
solves that. Meanwhile, both Aurelia and Angelique are just kind of staring like, what weapons to cook with? What? But yeah, I think like Xavier will probably like in the blink of an eye, like he'll like have the kitchen all cleaned up. Like you guys look away for a second, when you look back, it's all like sparkling clean. And I think it's
Oh,
probably
he
like
still does that.
yeah, I think like the girls will excuse themselves to like like get cleaned up. And in the meantime, let's see. I think like you probably have like cook tools proficiency, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think you just like roll like straight d20 plus your proficiency is how that works.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Can I be nice and give him the advantage, like just because I want
Sure.
to at least try to succeed?
Sure. I mean, we could just auto if you want, but
Okay, 15, that's better. Yeah. Listen, I want to believe in Archibold that like he can cook a little better now. Yeah.
award winning.
Yeah. It's probably not like the best brisket, like you wouldn't necessarily win any awards, but it's still very good.
It does not matter, Archibald's still presenting it like it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, and I'd definitely say the
It's
girls.
edible.
Yeah, it is incredible. Maybe it look a little bit more charred than it should be, but it's still very good, very like kind of melt in your mouth, falling apart kind of thing. And the girls definitely seem to approve of it.
Hey, see? I've learned a thing or two.
Well, it's acceptable, I suppose.
Acceptable? Didn't I tell you I've been training under an award-winning chef? This is the stuff that won him the awards.
Well, acceptable is certainly leagues better than what you used to be capable of, so I just say take the compliment.
Grumbles, chomps on his candy cigarette.
Yeah. Well, I think it's settled then. Welcome to the manor, Mr. Archibold. And she'll hold out a hand to shake with you.
Well, yeah, pleasure to be working under you. Definitely gonna have to go back and get the others though.
Oh, do you need a little money for train fare back there? I don't mind giving you some. It's must be quite a distance to go back and forth. I feel bad making you pay for that.
Oh, that's mighty kind of you. Just kind of like to Xavier, you take that out of my wages, aren't you, you rat?
Yeah, he's got the knife cat smirk. He absolutely is. Oh god. And I think the girls will probably see Archibald out and probably get him some gold for that and all, and they'll see him to the exit. Xavier, meanwhile, he's gonna kind of go off for a moment to collect the plates and clean those and whatnot. And
Playing house then.
and he stops dead in his tracks, and he just freezes in place. He doesn't turn to look immediately, but well, he hasn't moved.
There's no footsteps because there's never really any footsteps when there's nothing there. But you see out of the corner of your eye, the very familiar blue.
Mm-hmm.
I never suspected you, of all people, would get sentimental.
Mm-hmm. And I think he does at this point kind of turn his head slightly to look over his shoulder. He doesn't say anything, but he is looking at this figure that is speaking to him. What does this individual look like, Launch?
Dare I say ghostly?
Mm-hmm.
One eye can stare at him, though while it is moving, it looks devoid of all life, and the other is not visible.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden under bangs. Perhaps a little some mystery liquid pouring down from where an eye socket would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds about right. Would you say probably dressed in very fine clothes, maybe even
Oh, very fine garbs.
definitely. Would you say it'd be his usual outfit, or perhaps the last outfit that he wore when Xavier last saw this person, aka his
Probably
funeral
his last
clothes?
outfit.
Probably his
His
funeral
funeral
clothes.
clothes, then.
Yeah.
Didn't expect you'd be so domesticated at this point. Though I suppose I can't do anything about that. Ah, you no longer serve me. Just kind of shrugs.
Yeah. I think if the apparition has nothing more to say, then Xavier will just kind of turn and walk away, again, not saying a word, barely acknowledging this thing's presence. Because as far as he's concerned, it's not there, it's nothing. Just an apparition and nothing more. Or at least that's what he prays it is.
The end.
Anyways, I think we can kind of cut ahead to I don't know if you want to do a brief scene of the apartment again, or if we just cut to the three of them arriving at the manor sometime later.
There's probably a brief scene of the three of them with all their moving boxes getting seen off by some of the residents. You see
Yeah.
the 12 birds from the beginning, a very small, menacing looking Lady Toon kind of waving them off.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then then it'll cut to them arriving at the manor.
Yeah, with the carriage with like all their stuff on it and all that. And of course once
It's so big.
it
It ain't even bigger. It ain't even bigger than the Ashby Manor. It's so big.
Yeah, and I think Farris can also see like even in the front yard, like there's some nice little hedges and stuff, so plenty for him to work on there, and he hasn't even seen the back yet.
It's so much nicer than the apartment. I finally get to be a gardener again.
Aww.
I get to be a maid of the house fun lady. This is going to be so exciting. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Leia will be kind of getting a few more responsibilities because, well, their master is a lady now, so someone's gonna help
So
her put on those
exciting.
fancy dresses.
I'm not going to be the only girl in the house. It's going to be
the two very excitable ones are very excited, and Archie's is he's trying to play it cool, but he's definitely smiling.
Mm-hmm. All right, and I assume three of you arrive at the front door, knock on it, and once more you are greeted by Xavier. Though of course it's the first time for Leia and Farris to see what he looks like currently.
And Xavier is greeted by two people trying to like tackle.
Yeah, I assume
Xavier!
yeah, I assume he gets like half a sentence out, like, "Oh, welcome to," and then immediately
Yep.
tackled.
Yep. Oh, Mr. Xavier, we didn't think you survived.
No, we didn't. We thought you'd gone.
Yes, I'm happy
All
to see
right,
both
you
of you.
two.
Farris, please remember your strength.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, Mr. Xavier.
It's quite all right. Yes, it's quite all right.
Oh, you look so red now. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yes, I have been told as much. Just kind of makes it a side glance.
Oh wow, you've got horns.
And Ferris, I don't think Ferris hasn't like been up close with a tiefling probably, so Ferris is just kind of like, wow, that's so cool.
I think like just for fun, like Xavier will kind of like grin at him a little bit and like show off his fangs.
They're so sharp. And Xavier, not Xavier, Ferris will definitely kind of like put his thumb in his mouth and see how sharp his teeth are.
Nice.
Ferris, don't do that. Ferris, don't do that. You might hurt yourself. What? It's alright. I'll hurt yourself.
All right, fingers out of your mouth, please.
All right, yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, I think Xavier's just kind of like standing back and like just watching these three like do their whole silly little routine as usual.
They are creatures of habit.
Indeed, they are.
And what great habits to get back into.
Mm-hmm. I'd say he, at this point, would probably invite them in, and indeed, the lady of the house and her little shoulder angel are waiting for them. Welcome everyone. It's nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you, Miss. Yes, yes, it is. It is. I'm so excited to be working under a lady this time. Hello, my name is Farris.
And he like hand up, hand out for a handshake.
She will indeed shake his hand. Notably, since this girl is quite a bit older than Cyrus was, she and Farris are probably like pretty close in age, I'd say at this point.
Probably. Like the second he reaches out for a handshake, you get like you get Leah and Archie in like Ferris, your strength.
Farris, please. We don't want to be breaking the young Mrs. hand now. Right. Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know my own strength.
Oh, that's all right. As long as you're careful. Yes, please don't break her hand. That wouldn't make a terribly good first impression.
Archie's sweating bullets.
I think Angelique kind of like glances over and at Xavier and kind of says, "Your friends are kind of weird." And he kind of sputters a little bit and says, "It's like coworkers, but yes, they are certainly eccentric."
Just Archie's like, nah, sentimental fucker.
He's just glaring daggers at him, like, just shut up.
Just kind of pats him on his shoulder. Sacred between us two. Imagine Xavier just kind of like grabs his hand and he's patting his
Yeah, just like pulls his hand off, and it's like you hear a cracking sound.
Oh, great to be back in business.
But yeah, I think we can probably start wrapping up there. They'll give you like a tour of the whole manor, like, show you all the rooms and stuff. The backyard, which is very, very nice. I think I said there's like at least like an acre of land back there, if not like slightly more. Not a whole lot of stuff has been planted yet. There's also like a greenhouse kind of off to the side, so definitely plenty of stuff for Farris to work on. I think,
it's going to be so green!
yeah, especially if spring's coming up, so there'll definitely be plenty to plant. I think Aurelia probably shows off her room to Leia in particular. Like, shows off some of the dresses she has.
Oh, it's so pretty, miss.
Just kind of like definitely like kind of like shifting her glasses to try and see better as well.
Yeah, I think Xavier probably notices and is just like, "Oh dear, Leia, whatever happened to your glasses?" Because he notices like a crack on them.
Oh, well, you know, these are the latest glasses I got from the young master. So I you know, I've kept them in as good a condition I can.
Right, of course. I suppose you haven't updated your prescription in a while then as well.
My what?
He just sighs and face palms like, "Oh, another thing to add to the list, I suppose." But yeah, you guys get like a full tour of the mansion, and I think kind of a nice point to end on would be as the servants are kind of like settling into their servants' quarters, like in that part of the manor, because I believe we had talked about like the servants kept like a few small keepsakes from like the previous manor that they worked in, and I think they might be kind of setting them out here.
Yeah, I think if you'll permit, Xavier's probably doing his kind of busy work while the others are getting set up, and
Yeah.
kind of hear a knock on the wall from Archie. Hey, we got a little something for you.
Do you now? And he'll follow Archie, see what's up.
And he'll follow them into kind of the shared servants' quarters, and on the there is a tea set. You recognize this is one of the more frequent tea sets that the young master had used, and there is exactly 1 cup for everyone.
Yeah, I believe it was 5 cups, 1 for each of the servants, including Xavier and Takeda, and of course the teapot in the center, which could, of course, represent the master who brought them all together.
We only get to break this out on special occasions.
Well, just so long as he does break it on special occasions.
That's why we only bring it out on special occasions. We do. It's all right. I haven't broken my cup yet, except for the chip. But it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, if anything, it adds a bit of character to it, I suppose.
Yeah, character, that's what I'll call it. Cheers to all of us working together again.
Cheers.
Cheers indeed. Alright, and I think we can end
that's
there.
a good place to end it.
Yeah!
Yay!
That was so fun!
Yay!
I love them. I love the servants so much.
Oh, thank God.
They're so good, Launch. They're so good.
I'm just glad Archie can be an absolute fucking bastard man now.
Oh, absolutely. If anything, it's like enrichment for both him and Xavier.
Yes. This place isn't challenging enough. I need my emotional support, butler or cook to sass.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's even a thing. Like, he might even bring up that, like, because the young lady is quite a bit more agreeable, he doesn't really get his daily dose of banter in with her. She's too nice.
This is true. God, that's true.
Yeah. Alrighty, but I think I'm going to end the recording here. But thank you to Launch, of course, for being here, and to everybody listening, both in the present and in the future. We wish you a very good time zone. Bye, everybody.